Hey guys, I want to show you something combining the linear regression um, breakouts with the PT indicator to anticipate taking your targets at certain levels using statistically based methods. And we'll take a look at how this works together and see if we can complete your understanding of this with this video. So let's take a look. And we can see again the linear regression indicator just to understand what it is. You've got a period of time, bars, 20 bars in this example, and the indicator is the least square best fit method, which means that at the closes of your price candle, if it's above the line, then you're expecting further closes to be above the line. And if it is binary, above or below, and if it gets a certain length of distance away from that line, it's going to revert to the mean back to it. So it's always going back to check the line that it pushed off of. And so, can you use statistically based methods first to see if it's going to get back to the mothership, as I call it, going back to the linear regression line, and see if that works out? And that's why I put channels on the indicator away from the line that we can use as a guidepost, um, and then distance away from the high that it broke down from can also be used with statistic levels that we'll look at for our hypothesis to see if those statistically significant levels um, serve as the resistance or support. All right, so let's check it out. Here is the 5-minute chart of the NQ. The market's closed right now, so there's no data coming through. And I have a template requiring the 60-minute, 15-minute, and 5-minute 1, 2, 3, 4 to be together. So the solver is very simple to put together. You just put the close of your price with the linear regression indicator in B. JATS LRT lines, that's in your JATS folder. Just choose the indicator, and the top box is the LR1. Click OK, and you can put these on require time frames. So on your solver, you can require 60-minute, 15-minute, and 5-minute time frames. Copy your nodes into those time frame slots, and so it's a lot different than just requiring the current bar. So like I have this on a 5-minute, I could put it on a 1-minute chart. But you get the condition that all the prices are below that line. So what we want to do is see if we can use statistically significant levels to tell us when price is at the, oversold in this instance, and is it going to revert back to the mothership. And eventually it got here, went to this one, and then eventually got up there to the mothership. So let's take a look at the PT indicator, because the PT indicator is using that standard deviation bell curve concept on a 100 period, 100 bars, 100 time frame period rather. You can do it over a RTH session, a weekly bars, daily bars, 60-minute bars. So and you use the statistically significant levels for your 1, 2, 3 on 1/2 of this bell curve to get your levels. and that's what the indicator will give you on multiple time frames. So you see here on our market analyzer, I've got the indicator running through the market analyzer, the PT2, and I can tell you for the RTH range time frame between 8:30 and 15:15 how far that range distance actually is between those three levels. Remember the 1, 2, 3 that I just showed you on that 50% of that bell curve? So if we know what the range statistically is going to be, right? If it gets to the bottom of that range, that's the target. You would expect it to turn around and go back to the linear regression at that time. So you can do this on multiple time frames. There's the RTH period 1, 2, 3. I do the 1 hour initial balance. That's the 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning. So 14 sessions off that 1 hour initial balance, I can get my 1, 2, 3. I know for a fact what 14 sessions are, the high and the low, what that range is. And so you can use that as your benchmarks using these statistically significant levels to determine if price is in a breakout or reversal or inside trading condition. Likewise, you can break it down lower on these 60-minute charts, 15-minute charts, 5-minute chart. And that's what I have it running in the market analyzer to tell me this information. So here we can see that a total of 128 points in that first hour of trading is really what we should be shooting for as our target. So if you look at your 8:30 a.m. bar, which is the doji, 8:30 to 8:35, and you go from the close down 128 points. Here, this one, sorry, wrong chart. Get the ruler out. Go from the close down to 128 points. This is 253. That's twice the amount. So 128 thereabouts. There's 128.25. And you can see that's just about where price went. In fact, it's exactly where price went from the high. Take it from the high to the 128. Yep. That's your target. That was the first target. And in this instance, we did another measured move. Take it from the high. And it even swept further with the condition Friday. So there's your using the 1 hour initial balance, and that's the 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. time frame. Got both targets using statistical levels, and you can use, again, like I said, the RTH period 222. So if we were to measure 222 from the top, there's 150. I'm sorry, I'm retarded. Hang on one second. This, I think, when these upgrades have been messing around with my graphics. Okay, I'm botching this. One more try at it, and then I'll give it up. All right, 294. So what we want ideally is 222. So you get to the 222 from the high, and you can see that price made it to that level. So your decision is do you want to continue trading any fat tail below that or not? Just take your profit and be very damn happy that you got them all in the first hour. So as you can see, that's probably what the other algos were thinking, because then price started moving back inside the range. So you have your levels here. This does not represent 100% of the range here. These 1, 2, 3s, these are just those statistically significant levels. We're not trying to get the entire range. Not every day are you going to get the same 7-foot kid show up, right? You're going to have most of them all different sizes, 5'8", 6'0", 5'9", 6'2", you know. So you want to get that statistically significant level, and that's a pretty good way to do it for targets. And so I've got an indicator to capture this. Like I said, I put it in the market analyzer so that you can be looking at this at all times. And then you can put the indicator on your chart also. And that's two parts to this indicator part. This first one puts the oscillator on the chart, and it mimics what these levels are that you see on your market analyzer. So see 9, 18, 25, 25. So for the 5-minute, 9, 18, 25, 25 right here. So you don't have to have the indicator on the chart to see the levels. So why would you want to know that? Well, if you're day trading, you might want to know that 25.25 would be the outer target to reach to on a 5-minute candle for profit target, and then expect, that up and down movement. So when you get 25 from a high, expect price to start, retracing back up a little bit. So I usually shoot for the twos, that middle of the bell curve. Oops. Right here, the 2. So if it leaves the 1, or it's heading this way, the 2 usually is my go-to target. But I mean, definitely consider keeping it to the 3 if there's high momentum and a big event, but try to take that from a prior high down to the level and see if that improves your success, or the prior close of the prior bar. But use those levels to see if that will help you smooth out your performance on a quantitative basis. And what the indicator looks like on the chart, because we can put this on the chart also to give us that visual reference. So this is a 5-minute candle. Let's put a 60-minute. Distribution. And you can see the breakout of had the little doji at the bottom of that 60-minute distribution. Then you got your breakout condition. But price will generally stay inside the 60 minutes when it's balancing. 60-minute range. Those are, again, this higher time frame linear regression showing that there's an opportunity for runners. Look at that. You can also, like I said, move this instead of a 60-minute. Let's put it back on the RTH setting to show where that bottom target would come in on the regular trading hour session. So you can do this two ways, on the close and on the open. So here's on the close. And you can see price opened. We stayed out of the middle altogether. Globex was underneath the middle value, that's 68%. Stayed underneath it, and then went right to the PT3, broke out, came back and tested it. Look at that. And then back down and back up. Got caught in the spaghetti bowl. So you had your fat tail on the close. When you do it on the open, let me explain this to you so you can see it. So this is on the prior session, 14 periods on the session close. So 14 periods on the session close. So that's at 15:15. If you set this to open, get the data distribution off of the open instead of the close, your distribution is going to change. Okay. And now we're going to require the open to be in the middle of the distribution. So this is what you want to get for those targets also. So now we open in the middle of the distribution, and look, it goes to the 3. Are y'all starting to see this now? Aren't we clever little foxes? Alright guys, that's about all I have for you today. I'm going to give a Blackbird demonstration. Well, let me just go ahead and show you the Blackbird while I've got you. We'll just make this a really long video. So put the strategy on the chart, Blackbird. Okay, and oops, just one time. Like I said, this graphics card, I can't take it. Make sure you're in a simulated and not your regular account when you're testing and analyzing. So what you want to do is click your order settings button, and so say you had a chart template 60 15 5-minute LRT. You can put that in as a bloodhound signal. If you want to use that as your template file, just click on the ellipsis, open your bloodhound folder, pop your my training template for Tuesday. I just copied Fridays, or excuse me, Wednesdays, Thursdays. So just put your solver that you want to use for your entry signal. Go down and create an order set. This is how your order will be executed at the exchange. So you can have a market order or a limit order or a stop limit, or there's several different order types. Stop, limit, stop, limit, stop, limit, and then stop limit. These are all 4 different types of orders. So we'll just leave it on market. And so there's several things that you can do to this requirement. So you can place after, you're going to get the signal on when I get one of these red bands printing on the chart. That's going to be a trigger, and then you can limit your trigger entries several ways with Blackbird. You can do it by an indicator value. So you can say, I want to make sure I'm below the PT1B before you get involved. Or you can say anything that you want. I want to be below the 20 moving average, or you can also, which it, what other indicator that you've got, you can put that as a requirement. You can also use a bloodhound signal. So if you were trading a strategy, say um, 5-8 crossover, whatever you're gonna, you could think of, you could also use a different bloodhound template altogether than your signal. So our signal is this 2015 5. Well, say you wanted to make sure that you were going in the direction of the higher time frame trend. So you could come over here to your market analyzer and see that the higher time frame trend solver I've got for you is over here, the MA2. So you could go back to your order settings. Oops, all of that stuff got deleted. Put this back in. Forgot to save it. Try this again. So on your next version update, guys, y'all should put a prompt in here saying, do you want to save your template before it closes, to let us know. So let me save as real quick so this doesn't happen again. So you can require this to execute on a conditional execution. And so you could put that Bloodhound template or any other Bloodhound template that you have as a requirement. So let me find it in here and add it. All right, got it. Well, I thought I had it. And like I said, my coordination skills with this mouse, I think it's probably the mouse, maybe. I need to just get a better mouse. Okay, JATS MA2. There's no logic template, I've got it set up for you. So you could put any other Bloodhound template that you want in as a filter. And so that would require that condition to also be present before you got an fill or an entry. And then for the profit target, you could use the 2 times ATR slot, and that when you click on it, you would have to make an adjustment. So you click in the initial placement, and you can see that's when price is away from that ATR. This gives you the measurement. It's going to measure the threshold value. Someone was asking me last week, how do you get those thresholds? You change the ATR to the PT2, and the PT2 does the calculations. And if you're going to calculate on the bar that you've got on your screen, just leave it false, and that will give you the 1, 2, or 3 calculation on the bar setting on your chart. If you want to change this to a time frame like 8:30 to 15:15, then change it to 8:30 to 15:15. and use that open period, and if you want to use the full range um, as your profit target from 8:30, you can do that, and that would make sure your trade would be canceled at that point. So that's giving you that outside profit target down here to trade to. Um, and the trade would be taken off when it hit the line. Otherwise, you could set your trailing event up and trail down to it. So I like sometimes to trail on that 4. See the LR4 right there? So if you get a close above or below that LR4, you can close the trade out, like right here, the white bar just went above the 4. So say that had happened on the way to the target, but it would have gotten you out. Or you could trail whatever you like. Um, but definitely something to think about using the statistically based methodology. So that I think it's a little bit complicated, this indicator. But when you get the concepts and that's something that you want to think about, like again, you can use it on a 60-minute bar or a 15-minute bar. Same, it's just like fractal. You can start with a small range and then move it up to a larger range. But anyway, that's about all I have for you today, and thank you so much. Have a great weekend. See you next week, and go out and vote. Vote Trump. Thank you. Bye bye.